about the Lenten sermon series. Like people, just as far as this goes, all of our sermons are online. Mike Charles does a great job of putting those on, and we had some bad audio here recently, but I think we're going to fix that. And
cool.
Just said we're learning, but we're doing, right.
Yeah,
and so this is
it.
one of those things. There's going to be more coming with this room. Some different podcasts, and if we can, continue this,
we will.
Very fruitful.
It's awesome.
And so, tell us before we sign off. There's a couple things in the works that are coming that are in your wheelhouse that you're
Sure.
kind of spearing. One of those is the cancer support group,
right?
And then the other one is this working on this. Hopefully, one doesn't beget the other, but we know that in life this happens, and that is the end of life.
Navigating our way through
yeah.
end of our days. So I'll throw another one in there, and that's the almsgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So that old-fashioned Bible word for giving gifts to the poor is alms, I think. And so when we watch and see needs come, once in a while we have people knock on the church door or telephone, and they have a need. And so lots of times we have to wrestle with, if we give them money, are we helping them? Will they end up at the liquor store? What do we do?
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Right, stuff like that. So what we're going to try to do is to set up an alms basket in the back of church, and we'll have envelopes in the pews. We'll teach people what almsgiving is, and then when a need comes to you or I, that we will discern Bible word if the need is appropriate and how we can help with that. If some sort of gift toward them can help, it could be somebody from the outside or somebody within our own church. And
I think that's an important piece right there is the ability for us to help people we know. Again, I was going to go down a path that might get some people riled up, but I think it's perfectly good for people to use those resources that are available in the world to help raise money for people. Right. That's perfectly fine. What happens sometimes is, you have all these different groups, society groups, that do good things, right? Mm-hmm. And then the question comes in, what did my church do in my time of need? Yeah. And certainly there's a lot of response. There's people that are seeking to help. And so this is a way that in a consistent basis, right? We're always able to. We always have the means to be able to, as much as possible, help somebody and our members when needs arise, when things happen, because life is troublesome and things happen.
It reminds me of the Christmas Carol when Scrooge hasn't had his change in character yet, and these two portly gentlemen come at Christmas time, knock on his door, and they want gifts for the poor. And he says, don't we still have the poorhouses? Don't we still have the workplaces?
Yeah.
And he doesn't give anything. And then later on, after his transformation and his change in character, they come again, and he generously gives.
Yeah.
So that's good. So, okay, the other one is the cancer support group.
Yeah.
I thought it was really an interesting observation, because, Ross, you still wear that consultant hat because you've been here a year and a half, and don't take it off, because you see stuff we don't see because we're too used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you said that one of the things you thought you observed that has a lot of people have in common here, you asked me what I thought, and I said, well, probably the sense of family. But the answer that you gave really surprised me, and you said grief. And I think partly what you were saying wasn't that people here had more grief than anybody else.
They're not grieving being here.
Yeah, that's funny. But they're open about their grief.
Yeah.
Their grief is an emotional and a spiritual injury, and they're coming and they're free to talk about it and get healing from it. So one of those things that keeps reoccurring is this cancer thing, but it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be diabetes or any form of suffering that might be an emotional or spiritual cross to bear. So anyway, we're going to start a cancer support group. We've done that with divorce and stuff in the past. Grief support group too. So anyway, that one's going to come, and it's on the church calendar. I think that's on Monday nights.
It starts May 4th.
Right. Thank you for that. So that'll be really good for folks who, and we'll welcome anybody from around the community.
Mm-hmm.
And that we've had them before, and it's helpful.
Yeah, especially in the sharing of not just this is what I'm going through, but maybe some whatever it's resources, or here's what maybe you can expect, or I took that particular treatment before, and here's how it went for me. And then out of that too, and then, again, this kind of goes back to the alms thing a little bit, and that is, what are ways that people can help, right? And it's not always known what can I do, and it's always different. But a support group is able to help offer that support.
So you got some logistics stuff there, but you also got what's the meaning of suffering? What's my cancer teaching me? Am I ready to die? Why did the Savior come? What's that all about? Have I got unfinished business with people?
Yeah.
Not just like with the bank or my will, but unfinished business with emotional walls that I've put up against people. So anyway, that'll be there.
It's you just have unfinished business. Some of the greatest theologians did their greatest work while they were sick.
Yeah. It's called the refiner's fire, right? The crucible?
Well, I mean, Luther wasn't necessarily sick, although he had some bowel problems, going back to that being bound up. But anyway, he translate the entire New Testament into German language while he's, kind of hiding away in the Heidelberg Castle there. And CFW Walther he gets really, really sick and does a lot of great work in digging into the old texts, to Luther's works and things like that, and to that point, I think our sickness doesn't have to stop our effectiveness.
No, like you just said, it might amplify it. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Count of Monte Cristo or read the book, but the Abbe Faria, he's the priest in the prison, and he's the transforming sage for Edmond Dantes, and they're both in prison together. And Edmund says to the Abbe, which means father in French, how did you come up with all this? How did you learn all this? And he talks about how dynamite under pressure has this ability to have a strong force, and if it didn't have this pressure. So he's talking about under pressure, cancer, suffering, it causes an explosion in our thoughts.
Sure.
What you're talking about, those guys.
I never read the book. I saw the movie.
Yeah.
And then the last one there, coming up in May, is the navigating end of life.
Yeah, and they're all related, aren't
they?
They're about suffering.
Yeah.
And so that's advanced planning. So we're on the docket to send out invites to people like maybe an emergency room physician or an oncologist. Because that brings us back to two ways we die, right? Either fast or slow.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Different kinds of lines of medicine take care of both of those. A financial planner, an insurance person, funeral director, chaplain from the hospital, and hopefully we'll have follow-ups where people can come and do a workshop on signing their power of attorney for health care. They explain what that is. People are afraid of that, but they shouldn't be, because just for example, in the state of Wisconsin, if I didn't fill out a power of attorney for health care and I can't answer for myself, and my wife wants to do something different than the doctors, it's going to cost maybe $3,000, $4,000, $7,000 to go to court for her to make that decision. So all that's in there.
Yeah, most people don't have to think through those things. Before I deployed, I did all that, and it's the hardest thing to do. And I wrote the letters, gave them to the letters of it. I didn't make it home, even though I wasn't going to a severe combat area. It's like whatever and all that stuff. But I mean, that's a tough thing, and you write that letter, and it makes you think things through, and just the simple stuff too of because here's the log on information to this, here's how you get into this banking website, here's
like that,
all that stuff, and there's a list that says here's the login, here's the password,
and here's all the passwords,
and frankly we should always have that somewhere handy, so our significant others can find that and be able to not have to make a million phone calls at a very, very difficult time to get all the information that they need. And then with that too, the ultimate planning of, here's what song I would want sung, and here's the scripture verse that I think best, and you've been there, I've been there, when families are trying to think through these things at times that a lot of emotion and other things are there, and it makes it so much, maybe not easier, but it takes away a certain part of the burden.
It's helpful. So part of that unfinished business is when we haven't accepted our own death.
Yeah.
Once we accept that, that's finished business.
Yeah.
Or approaching it anyway.
Yeah.
Really good. We
All
got
right.
some good stuff going here. Thanks for doing this, Rob.
Yeah. So again, so the cancer support group coming up March 4th. That's on the website there, and then I think that starts at 5:30, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then the almsgiving. Stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking a little bit more about that as things kind of come forward and we get all of the things connected, the dots connected, and then the navigating the end of life. More information will be coming out for
That'll
that.
be in May.
Yep. So we got some time for that, and looking forward to all those things.
Super.
All right.
Thanks, Ross.
So till next time, we'll see you.
Catch you later.
All right.
Thank you. Bye now.